Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I have a dual review for you. It's the GasOne folding butane stove and the My Patriot Supply Traveler's Stew. I like to focus on one product normally, but today I have something interesting for you. It is the GasOne folding butane stove. If you guys know butane stoves, you know they're normally pretty large, and they would take up, most of this counter space here. This one's a little bit different. It folds out. I will show it to you in a minute. But we're also doing a review of the My Patriot Supply Traveler's Stew. Now, this has gotten good and bad reviews, so I'm going to try it for myself and see if I like it. Because I have a bunch more of these, and I'm going to see if see how I like it, see if it's good for me. So some of the reason we're doing this is because this has this stove has an amazingly nice low simmer. And this is an item that needs to be simmered for a while. So they kind of go hand in hand, and I also wanted to remind you about the My Patriot Supply sale that's going on right now. So we'll put that to the side for a minute. We're going to focus on the stove first. Now this is a 8,000 BTU stove. It's not much bigger, well, it's a little bigger than a 32-ounce tumbler. This is a unique addition to their roster of camp stoves at GasOne. It's a travel-friendly design, nice and portable, decent case for it, definitely a decent, well-made case for it. Better than most of them. Most of them pop open the minute you drop them down somewhere. And it's a really neat kind of addition to my butane stoves because of its size. And I wanted to bring it to you folks today because I know some of you folks who are prepping don't have a lot of space. You may be in a small apartment. You may be living somewhere in a big city, in a tiny apartment, in a high-rise, and you just don't have the room. Or if you've got a tiny home, this is an awesome way to add an extra burner to maybe a 2-burner stove. So let me stop talking and start showing. We're going to open it up, pop it down like that, and there's your stove. Now this is kind of neat, and I want to say a big thank you to Crazy Russian Hacker, because that's how I found out about this. I thought this was the coolest thing. He showed this on his channel a while back at the beginning of the year, and I had to get one. Anyway, let's pull it out here. Put that case to the side. It is a very nice case. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, where the heck is the stove on this thing? Well, here's the neat part. I'm going to push this back a little bit so we have room. You're going to pull this up, swing this out like that, swing it out like that, and then you're going to expand your legs. Now, something neat about this stove is there's no particular, you'll put your butane canister in there. There's no locking mechanism for the butane canister. It locks it in a very unique way, and that's with a rare earth magnet. So the top of your canister will be locked in there. Make sure you get it where, the notches. And the rest will, once you push that in, will be locked in there with a rare earth magnet. I was a little skeptical at first, but when you feel the pull of that thing, it's not going anywhere. So let me show you how to load it really quick. I'm going to move the camera up a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so here's the top of the can. We're going to put this in. We're going to make sure that notch in there is with that piece of metal there. And you're really just going to push in on it. And there's the magnet. And as you can tell, that magnet isn't letting go of it. It's in there really, really well. So you want to give it one last little push. Make sure it's good. And it's loaded and ready. So let's get it back up on the front, and I will show you how it cooks. All right, so we got the stove loaded with the butane. Now to turn this on, you're just going to push in and turn. And there's your flame. Now here's what I was telling you about the simmering. This can go way, way, way down. I don't even know if you can see that on camera, but there is still quite a good flame coming out of there. It's very, very low, and it will simmer very, very well for the product that we're making today. So that's why I chose to do these two together, because I thought this is a really handy item, and I wanted to remind you about the sale, and it's an item that needs to simmer for a while, so really a perfect combination. So let me give you a little information. Now these run about 50 bucks. They aren't as cheap as your $20 butane stoves, okay? But the nice part about this is when this is folded up, this can fit on your counter, if you need an extra burner. Like I said, if you live in a tiny home and you have one of those little 2-burner stoves or one single burner, this is a way to add an additional burner if you're cooking for friends or family or anything like that. It's also really convenient for power outages and emergencies where you may not have, my stove's all electric. I may not have a stove if the power goes out. So I have to pull out my stoves and I have to cook this way. You put it over kind of like this, and it stays out of the way, and it gives you a little room to put your pots and pans down here and cook on it. And it's definitely got a nice wide pot stand up here, so you can fit pretty much anything on top of here. Now the first thing people are going to ask is how much does that weigh? Well, it's about the same weight as an average butane stove. 4.3 pounds, 4.03 pounds. It takes the 8-ounce butane canisters. And if you see those folks, just a suggestion from me to you, buy them on Amazon. You can get 12 for like 20 bucks as opposed to buying them at Walmart for like $4 each or $3 each. Much cheaper to buy them on Amazon. The BTUs on it are about the nominal heat output is about 2.2 kilowatts, and the gas consumption is 160 grams per hour. So how long does it burn? Usually, depending on how high or low, about 2 to 4 hours. So that's definitely really, really good from a small little canister. So I'm going to show you how to take it apart really quick, and then we'll get into the My Patriot Supply and cooking that food there. First thing you're going to do is pull this off. And you're going to twist and pull it off like that, and it comes right off. These will, of course, fold back up, and you're going to take this and swing it right back inside and close the lid. So you can see how that's a fairly attractive package if you have to keep it out on a countertop. If, like I'm going to say, you're going to use this every day in a tiny home or a small apartment. But it's also a very, very handy way to have an emergency stove. And I like to focus more on people who are starting out to start on their home preps. I'm not thinking about tiny little stoves for titanium for a bug-out bag, You really want to start preparing your home first, because chances are that's where you're going to be. And if we go by the rule of threes, you got about 3 weeks without food before you are going to starve. So you do want to have some way to cook your food. It'd be a shame if you had all that food put away and no way to cook it. So this is definitely an option for newer preppers, maybe with limited space. I know most of us we went out and got the big, regular propane, butane stoves that you flip open on the side and you stick the can in. But this is definitely a neat little option. So let's get it set up again, and we will talk to you about the Traveler Stew, and we'll get that going. All right, so we got everything set up here. Got my bowl on it. These 5 cups of water, they're already in there. The instructions for this are open pouch, remove oxygen absorber, 5 cups of water to a boil, whisk in contents of the pouch, boil it for 3 to 5 minutes, and then reduce heat and continue cooking for 25 minutes. I've found that to be, on most of these entrees, about 15 to 10 minutes. It doesn't really need that long, but you can do it if you want. So the first thing we're going to do is, of course, turn on the burner and get that going. And I'll open it up and remove the oxygen absorber. And there goes that. I got a lid for it here. So we'll let that go. I'm going to open this up here. Another nice thing about it, you can open these pouches up. These pouches are good sealed for 25 years. As long as the pouch integrity is there, that's 25 years worth of storage food. There's your oxygen absorber right there. I'm going to pull it out. Now all we have to do is wait till that water comes to a boil, and I will give it I'll give it a quick kind of loose timing. It's 8:30 right now, so we'll see how long it takes to take 5 cups of water to a boil. So while we're waiting for this to boil, I want to let you in on a little bit of what's going on with My Patriot Supply and sales that they're having right now. And, I have a question for those of you watching. Do you have enough emergency food stored? If there were to be some kind of emergency right now, would you feel secure in your food storage? If the stores were, to have a run this afternoon and be completely empty, would you have enough food? With the current COVID shutdown and all the different food supply chain problems it's causing, there's a lot of farmers and ranchers and major food processors that are facing challenges like they've never seen before. You have a lot of them going out of business, and they won't be producing any more food. So that means soon there could be severe shortages of food that we all take for granted. If you think the toilet paper crisis was bad, you haven't seen anything until people can't get food. And I did see a very small amount of that here when our stores were run out and pretty much empty. So you can get stocked up really easy with this sale. If you go to my site, which is preparewithiridium.com, and I will put that link down below, you can get 1 week of emergency food for $74. That's on sale. It's in a sealed ammo can. Comes with this stew here and a bunch of other entrees. Really easy to take care of. It's kind of set and forget. You put it away, you forget about it, it's done. Now, if you want a 4-week supply, that's $197. That's on sale as well. It also has free shipping if you get the 4-week supply. There are current special deals you can get right now on my site. So if you want to check it out, you can do that. You can buy it, put it away until there's a disaster. You have nothing to worry about. Now, there are plenty of other ways to get stocked up. And like I said, if you can't afford to spend that kind of money right away, I would much rather see you go to a store and buy canned goods as you can buy them. But if you have the extra funds right now, given what we're seeing in the world and what's going on now, is a good time to get stocked up. And that's kind of why I'm mentioning this today, because I wanted to remind people that we do have that sale going, and it just kind of started recently. So definitely check it out. It's preparewithiridium.com, and I will put that link down below for you. So quickly, a word about shipping while we're waiting, because we're almost there to boil. Shipping has been delayed with them. They're getting an unprecedented number of orders with the second wave this time, 15 to 20% above normal. So any new orders placed today, about 75% will ship out in 1 week. Some might be a little longer because certain items take a little longer to get processed, but they have all of their facilities working full time now, so it's definitely getting better. So I see we've got a boil. It's not a full rolling boil, but it's close. So I'm going to call that at about 8 minutes for 5 cups. Really not bad. So let me get my whisk and we'll whisk it in. Another reason why I like this stove is I can take this lid and put it here. If I had a regular butane stove, it would be pretty much all stove. Alright, so we got the boil going. This does smell really good. Inside here you've got pasta, lentils, carrots, celery, onions, rich chicken broth, a blend of savory herbs and spices. Really, really smells good. We'll see how it tastes. Some people have said this is bland. Some people have said they don't like it. So I figured this is as good an entree as any to give a good test out to. Now they say to cook that for 3 to 5 minutes, if I remember right. You boil it for 3 to 5 minutes and then reduce heat. So I'm going to let it boil for 3 to 5 minutes and I will bring you back when we reduce the heat and we'll see how well the simmer function works on the stove. Alright, so it's been about 8 minutes actually. I kind of overdid it, but it's still going. And we're going to try and reduce it to simmer. I'm going to go down here and watch. See how low I can get it. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but that is an incredibly low simmer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit lower. I'm going to turn off the lights and let you see how low this stove can simmer. So there you go. That's super, super low. It's still enough to keep it going and keep it simmering. The stuff is still bubbling a little bit, but not bad. And that's one of the reasons I like these butane stoves, is they're really, really good at low heat cooking. So you can see that there. That is just awesome. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cook now. It says 25 to 30 minutes. I'm going to let it go about 25 minutes, and I'll bring you back when it's done. And we'll go from there and we'll test it out. Alright, so I ended up going 25 minutes with it. And it looks to be done. It smells amazing. I'll tell you that much right now. Whether I like the taste or not, it definitely smells amazing. So let's get a scoop of this, put it in here. There we go. I like a clear cup so you can actually see what it looks like. I'm going to bring it up close so you can see it. Let's take a quick taste of that and see how we like it. See, now that's really good. I don't understand why people were complaining about it. I'll give you a spoonful, take a look at what it looks like. That is really a hearty, healthy, good meal. Yeah, definitely good stuff. The broth is amazing too. So there's lunch for today. And I'll leave some out for later. So it's definitely a pretty darn good meal. I could definitely see myself eating that. Let me finish chewing. I could definitely see myself eating that in an emergency or any kind of disaster and really fill up. I mean, that's a lot of soup. There's a lot left in here. It's still about that full. Bring it up and show you. So it's still fairly full and definitely a hearty, good tasting meal. Some people had said it's kind of bland. Well, you know, I kind of like the way it is. You can always add salt or spices on your own if you want, but I really don't have a problem with it. I think it tastes really, really good. So I don't have a problem with it at all, and the stove did perform very, very well. It simmered nice and low. As a matter of fact, it's still simmering. Let me turn that off. So it ran all that time without even a hitch. You know, I mean, that much time really isn't that long at that low thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the soup aside, and I'll show you how to pack up the stove, and we'll finish up the video. All right, I've let this cool off for about 10 minutes now. It is cool to the touch. Safe enough to pack up, definitely. Again, there's no plastic that's going to be touching, so if this is warm, you can pack it up like this and not worry about it. First thing you're going to do is turn it and pull that off. And there's your butane bottle, and it is still, I would venture to say, about here instead of here, you know. Still fairly full. We're going to fold up the legs like that. Push it inside. Whoops, 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 whoops. There we go. Close it down, and there you go. It's that simple. Now, I would recommend when you're cooking with this, if you're cooking on Formica or anything that could possibly warp with the heat, which is my plastic here on the counter, so that's why I have the wood underneath it, to put something underneath it. You know, even a piece of ceramic tile, whatever you have, to kind of buffer it from the heat, because it does get very hot underneath. But you see how easily that is put away, no problem. And this area is all cool, so even if it is against plastic, it won't melt anything. So all in all, a very cool little stove. And definitely some cool food from my Patriot Supply. That Traveler Stew. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with it. I was kind of scared because I heard so many people saying, "Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I hate it." And I'm like, well, that's not bad. It was really good. It is one of the things that comes in there. There's lots of other stuff. There's macaroni and cheese. There's all sorts of creamy chicken rice. All sorts of breakfast, pancakes, oatmeal. So you're definitely going to get hearty food and definitely filling food. Not something you'd eat every day, but during an emergency, this is good filler food for you to keep you full and definitely healthy, and alive. So I will put the link down below for the stove right here. That's on Amazon. Like I said, they run about 50 bucks. So they're not super expensive, but about $30 more than, say, your average everyday butane stove. But if the size and ergonomics is really important to you, definitely you want to pick one up. And I will put a link to my site, which is preparewithiridium.com, for the My Patriot Supply food and the deals that they're running now. Like I said, you can get a 4-week supply for $197 with free shipping. And a 2-week supply is $79, which is also on sale. And that's sealed up in a nice ammo can, a full-size ammo can. So that food will stay safe and good for 25 years. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our Amazon store down below in the description box. Pretty much everything I do in there, including this, will be in my Amazon store. When I can't find it or when it's cheaper somewhere else, I'll let you know. But just if you want to look at the specs or anything I forgot in the video, you can check out the Amazon store. And don't forget to check out our Thrive Life link down below as well. If you're interested in getting started in some freeze-dried foods, Thrive Life is an awesome place to check out. And I thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.